Welcome to the City of Caldwell podcast. My name is Brian. We have Donna Shines here with us today from the Mentoring Network. Donna, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Brian.
Can you just start with telling us more about yourself, how you got where you got to, and just tell us more about how your upbringing and...
Sure. Thanks for that question because I grew up here. I grew up in Caldwell. This was my school grounds, everything. My grandparents lived over here, so we had kind of family, which was amazing, and had a family, a mom and a dad and my siblings that were always ones who gave back to community in whatever they did. So I think that's how I got started. I was a pretty shy kid. I loved sports. I lived in a neighborhood with all boys, so I learned to compete in sports pretty much. And that was kind of my life for a long time. Went on into high school, lots of great friends that we still hang out with now and then. It's amazing though that those that live in Caldwell, we all probably never see each other, which is amazing to me that we grew up here and that happens. But so I went on to college and I loved meeting people, loved seeing new places, changed colleges every year so that I could do that, and then ended up working for the YMCA for a long time and giving my time to Special Olympics. So nonprofit world has kind of been my world since the beginning of giving time. I came back to Caldwell, ran a fitness center here in Caldwell called Court Sports. Many will know of that place. We had a lot of fun there. I then became a teacher at Caldwell High School for special education. Had never ever thought of it as a career. I just volunteered my time with special needs, and so when a friend asked me from the district office to apply, I did, and then 12 years later I left that. Love the kids, miss the kids, but doing what I do now has been amazing. And we were not a nonprofit when I started in the Mentoring Network. It was called the West Canyon Mentoring Project. So I had 1 year of federal funding, came in as the director, but said, don't hire me unless you want me to show you how to do this, and then what are we going to do to keep this happening for kids. And that was 19 years ago. So far, so good.
That's awesome. What colleges did you go to?
Boise State, first and last year, University of Hawaii Hilo, and Utah State.
So you really were all over the place.
Yeah, it was great. Hawaii was probably the best year of my life, but just saying.
Okay, well, thanks for coming back. We appreciate that. So, tell us, what is the Mentoring Network? Who does it serve? Tell us who serves in the Mentoring Network.
Okay. Well, it's fun, Brian, talking to you about this because you are one of our amazing volunteers. And so the Mentoring Network is a school-based mentoring program, which means that our mentors mentor at school during the school day, during the school year, for about an hour a week. As far as who we serve, kids who need an extra adult, which is every child on this planet. I wish I had that many mentors so that we could actually mentor every child on this planet. We don't put a box around the kinds of kids that we serve. The schools identify the kids that they feel are in greatest need of just a friend, someone who shows up, listens, and cares. As far as our mentors, so diverse. We are all like-hearted, but different thinkers. And the one thing that we have in common is we love kids, and we want to see kids succeed. They are all kids of promise, and they need to know what their strengths are. And a mentor who comes alongside a child starts to see where they really shine and can really encourage that and develop that. So as far as mentors, it's pretty much word of mouth is how we get our mentors. We need people who really want to do this because this isn't a one-year thing. This is something that once you're in, we hope we never lose you. And so far, so good. We've got some mentors who've been with us for 20 of my years, all 19 of my years, and going into their 20th year. So once you meet a child and build a friendship, I don't know why you'd ever leave. The only reason that mentor relationships end is because kids move away outside of our service area. Of course, along with life happenings, we've had deaths of mentors, deaths of children, injuries, and lots of things, moving. There are a lot of things that happen because this is kind of a life program. We live life together. So we just want good human beings that can show up, listen, and care. And the kids, I just want kids to know that there's somebody out there that will take the time to be with them. So I think that kind of does it. As far as becoming a mentor, we've got a website, and I'm sure we can give that information out later. And on the website, there's a Become a Mentor link, and it just walks you through the process. There are about 5 steps to becoming a mentor with our program. And then you have support with me and my staff person anytime that you need it. And we are there to encourage you, because without you, we don't have kids that have mentors. So that's how we do what we do.
So if there's a parent out there saying, man, I'd really love to get my kid to get into the program, to get mentored, how does that work?
Well, that's the hard part, because every child deserves to have a mentor. And what we need are more mentors. And they're out there. We just need people sharing the opportunity, so that if a parent did come and say, we really would like our child to have a mentor, we could provide that. But right now we work through the schools. We started out with 17 schools when I came in 19 years ago. We have 60 schools that we serve now, and they all have kids that they want in our program. So best thing to say is have a parent talk to the counselor at their school, let them know that they would love to have that. I can't guarantee anything, because we won't put kids on a waiting list that kids know about. We would rather have mentors wait, and once they're trained and ready to go, we can turn things around really fast. And so what I'd say to parents, if you did get a kiddo that all of a sudden a mentor is available for, turn that paperwork around. We can do it in a day. That's all we need on the parent end, really. So,
wow.
But we need more mentors, always. They're never going to be enough to serve every child. And that's my goal. Every child should have somebody extra besides parents.
What would you say to the adult out there that maybe they never would have thought about mentoring until they kind of became aware of this? What would you say to the person who might feel underqualified or not sure if they could do it, but they're like, hey, I can show up and hang out, but I don't know if I've had this kind of background before? What would you say?
That seems to be, there is something that keeps adults from signing up for mentoring programs. A lot of it is just how our world's become. They're afraid of accusations or something. But if we can let go of that and just be the way we were when we were kids, we had adults in our community, in our neighborhoods, in our churches, that they were watching out for us. Like, we did something wrong, they let our parents know. But they also were there to encourage us. So this is what I'd say. If you truly love children and you're a good human being, and you know you can commit to showing up, listening, and caring 45 minutes to an hour once a week during the school day, during the school year, you have the qualifications. Good human being, show up, listen, and care. We're there for all the rest of that support, and no 2 mentoring matches are the same. No 2 relationships are the same. So we will train you generally, but until you immediately don't know what you're going to do. But we've got a lot of amazing mentors who have been with us a long time that can give you lots of ideas. But 95% of what makes mentoring work, Brian, is that you show up, listen, and care. 5% is the activities you do.
Right.
And I mean, that's clear to me after all these years working with kids. They really want someone who just hangs out with them.
So the city of Caldwell has a program, and there's going to be a lot of employees that actually listen to this. So can you tell us more about how the Mentoring Network, it's an approved thing, the organization where people can get involved, and can you tell us about that?
Well, That's kind of the city's thing, but I can tell you about it since
Yeah.
it was under your previous mayor that this all came about a long time ago when I first started doing what I'm doing. Mayor Nancolis and I had gone to high school together, and so he's always been a kid person just like Mayor Jerem is, and they get it. And so he said, there's a way we can help. Let's figure this out. And so he did a proclamation, I believe is what they called it. And it was that city employees could give an hour of time a week to a, however you just said, non-profit, one that's been okayed by the city, and they can flex their lunchtime. So they've got some flexibility, which allows them to do it during the school day. It's a game changer. And this is the only city that does it. We had it in the city of Nampa a long time ago, but through different, way long ago, mayor changes, just kind of went by the wayside, which saddens me because city employees have been some of the best mentors we've had out there. And in Caldwell, I know that they actually onboard new employees with a little bit about the mentoring network. And then we've got a lot of mentors, you included, who speak to it and encourage new people to check it out if they like kids. So it's a game changer. I think of how many city employees that potentially could do this. Challenge me. Say yes. We'll go from there. Put that out there all the time, and I've never been challenged yet. So I'd love to have 20, 30, 40, 50 city employees that go, shoot, we can make this happen.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. Thank you to the city of Caldwell. It's been, kids and families have always been high on that priority list. And I know they are in our other towns, but this one has always kept that consistent.
So if you're a city employee out there, there's like 300 plus of us. You can talk to your supervisor, talk to HR, but I know that you can actually get on while you're on the clock, go and mentor for about an hour a week and not have to clock out. You just, that's part of your work day. A lot of times you can actually have lunch with the kiddo, and that's your work time, that you're eating lunch with a kid, and it makes a big difference in that person's life. And there's a lot of, so I had a kid, and his home life wasn't very consistent at all, and just having lunch with them every day or every week just made a big difference. And I can kind of tell the kids in his class too kind of started to get it. Yeah. And they're kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah, this kind of happens. None of them really asked me to mentor them at all, but they can tell that something was there for kids who needed that. Yeah. And I think that kind of gave them a little bit of a security too. That could be me if I need it. So tell us about your 25th anniversary. So
July 1, we started our 25th year. So this whole year, between July 1 and June 30th, 2024, we just want to celebrate mentoring. There are lots of great mentoring programs around that will fit your need. And if ours doesn't fit your need, there are others that we can tag you into, and we would love to do that too, because every person, I don't care if it's a child or an adult, deserves to have a mentor. And I know Brian and I have talked about this, where we really sought out our mentors. Early on, I think they were pretty natural in our neighborhoods and stuff, but then as we got older, we sought out our mentors, and I was always looking for that person who was doing something that I went, that's really neat, or I really want to be like that. And I just go up and ask them if they'd, teach me how they became who they are. And that's my big question now, is when I meet someone new, I want to hear your story of how you become who you are and why you care. I really don't care about your titles or anything else. I just want, any good human being, I want to hear your story. And those who are struggling human beings, those are good human beings too. We want to hear your story, and you might make a great mentor for the right kid. Mm-hmm. So 25th anniversary, we don't do big event things. We'll probably have an event for our mentors and some of our kids to share their stories throughout the year, and then probably lots of little things, So if you're really interested in this or want to be a part of us, can't mentor but want to give back in another way, whatever your passions and strengths are, I'd absolutely love to sit with you and find out if there's something once a year you would want to help make happen. And maybe we can work that out with you too. So we don't know what it's going to look like. We just know we're already celebrating that we're going, wow, this is amazing. That we have got all these beautiful volunteers over all these years, and amazing philanthropy and donors and time and talent and treasure who keep coming back, even if they can't mentor, and saying, what can I do now for you? This is how we make things like this happen. So serving Canyon and Hawaii County for all these years, that will always be our niche. But we have also helped other places create something similar to what we're doing. I will mentor anyone who's got the passion and share anything freely with them of how to do what we do. And then they can tweak it to make it work for them. So that's part of my celebration too. I want more people to understand that good things are worth making continue, and that it isn't that hard to keep things continuing if we all just learn to be together in a beautiful, compassionate, caring way. Every now and then, I think once a year, you guys have like an auction of some kind. Yeah. So tell us more about that, and if people want to donate or give awesome. in a way, how do they do that? Yeah, thank you. We have a board that has always wanted to help in fundraising, but it's just not their passion area. And so it just always seems like it kind of takes them down more than brings them up. And so we finally found some ways that they could put something together. And we have what we call Connect-a-thon, and it's virtual. You don't have to come and spend time away from your family on a weekend, but you can get involved on social media. And during that Connect-a-thon, we do an auction, and we will do it the same time of year as we did last year. It was new last year at this time, but prior to Valentine's Day is when we will be doing it, so that a week out it's all finished and we can get the items to you for Valentine's Day gifts. We had some really cool things last year, and of course lots of dinners, bottles of wine, those things people love. But a lot of other things. We had a counselor from one of our schools who wanted to give back to us, and she did the most beautiful cake pops that went into one of the baskets with other things. So yes, if you are willing or have a really cool item that we could do an auction with during that time, or the other thought we are having is auctions. If you've got something that just comes up during the year and you go, oh my gosh, we got this trip to such and such and wonder what we should do with it, and you want to auction it to raise money for the Mentoring Network, let us know about it, and we're going to do a spot auction that'll last 24 hours. And we'll just throw it out to all our social media stuff. So we want to play in that a little bit too. But the auction has been great, but it's more about the relationship building. It does raise some money for the Mentoring Network, and we so appreciate it. Gives the time to put it together, put the baskets together. I mean, all that stuff is amazing. So thanks for asking about that. And we'll do that once a year all the time, because we've got lots of people who are kind of watching for it now. But I think it'll be kind of around Valentine's always, because that was kind of a fun way to do it. And after Christmas and after all of the busy things.
Right.
So.
Now, Donna, was there anything else to touch on or promote that the Mentoring Network is doing? Or
I think what I would love to kind of finish with, Brian, is just, we really believe in all things that we do in the Mentoring Network, that it's all about relationships. It's all about healthy relationships. So we don't just model that with mentor and mentee. We model that in everything that we do in all 5 communities. We serve Caldwell, Nampa, Homedale, Parma, and Valley View school districts officially, but another 6 that are around the area where one of our kids might end up and a mentor will stay with. We'll open the door for that. But it's all about relationships. So our board is the same way. We take the time to build actual relationships and want to be together and do things together. And in the communities that we're in, we build relationships. I try to be involved in each of the communities that we serve. And now we've got some board members who can do some of that, so it's not just me. So we want people to understand that how we change our communities and how we change the world to a place we all want to live, healthy, thriving, vibrant, safe, all those things. We have to look up instead of down in our little organizations and look at what little piece does the Mentoring Network do to make this kind of a world that we all deserve to get to be a part of. And how do we help bring people together by talking about what's possible rather than all the barriers and all the, fear and things. Let's get one another as human beings. We can be larded, but so easy into thinking to be able to actually have conversations. So I think I want to leave you with that. I think this goes so much bigger than the Mentoring Network. We're still here because this is what we believe and this is what we model. And it seems to be what we all really kind of want to do and be a part of, have someone who cares enough to hear our story and to be able to listen to someone else's story.
Great. And what's the website for the Mentoring Network, and how do people get in touch with you?
It is www.mentoringnetworkid.org. And then if you want to get a hold of us, 208-880-1690. Give us a call. If you've got any questions, thoughts, ways you want to be involved, throw it out to me, because maybe we haven't even thought of it yet. And we'd love to have you be involved.
Great. Well, Donna, thank you so much for coming out and just telling us more about your story and the story of the Mentoring Network. And thank you for all the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you for making this possible. I mean, what a fun way to let more people know about all that's going on in Caldwell. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.